Hi everyone. In this video, we see some of the questions which have been asked in TRB 2008 from communication system subject. First question. The Nyquist sampling rate for the signal g of t is equal to 10 cos 50 pi t cos squared 150 pi t, where t is in seconds, is given by dash. Right? So this is simple question. Let us solve the problem. Fine. The given signal is 10 cos 50 pi t cos squared 150 pi t. So let us take that and simplify that. Right. Whenever we are having a signal in multiplication form, we cannot apply sampling theorem. It should be converted into addition form. Then only we can solve the problem. Let us go and do. So given signal is 10 cos 50 pi t cos squared 150 pi t. 10 cos 50 pi t cos squared 150 pi t. So it is in multiplication form. First convert into addition. So 10 cos 50 pi t cos squared I can convert as 1 plus cos 2 into 150 pi t divided by 2. Fine. So then I multiply this and this. So what will happen? 10 cos 50 pi t. This will be 10 cos 50 by t. It is cos 50 pi t into cos 300 pi t. Right. So this one is 50 pi t. It is small. Only this one will be very large value. So I neglect this one. So what is that? Cos 50 pi t into cos 300 pi t. Right? Why I neglected? Because this will be cos 50 pi t only, but this is again it is in multiplication format, and if I simplify it, it is 300 plus 50 pi t or 300 minus 50 pi t will come. Whether it is sine or cos, that is none of our problem, because the equation is bothering about frequency, not about whether it is sine or cos. But this one will be having only 50, so I neglect that. So what are the components of frequency I can get? If I simplify and make it addition, either I will get 350 pi t or 250 pi t. Is it? Why? Cos A into cos B, it is some equation, right? It will give either cos A plus B plus cos A minus B by 2. That is not required because we are bothering about only frequency. So answer will be having either A plus B or A minus B only. So either it will be 300 plus 50 or 300 minus 50. So what is the answer? I will get a frequency component 350 pi or 250 pi. In that for Nyquist sampling theorem, Fs is greater than 2F max. So I have to choose the maximum value. So I choose 350 pi t. So let us go to the previous one. Omega is 350 pi. I can compare. So this implies omega is equal to 2 pi f. 2 pi f is equal to 350 pi. So f is equal to 170. Sorry, pi cancelled. So sorry, this one will be there. This will, sorry, omega is equal to 350 pi. 2 pi f is equal to 355. So f is equal to 175. As per Nyquist sampling theorem, Fs must be greater than 2F max or equal. So Fm is maximum of input is 175, right? So F is equal to 2 into 175, 350 samples per second. So option D is a correct answer, right? So that is very, very important. So please remember, whenever the given problem is in multiplication form, You cannot apply sampling theorem directly, convert into additional format. It may be either cos plus sine or cos minus sine or sine plus cos. It should not be in multiplication form, because the spectrum we have to make it added. Then only we can apply Nyquist sampling theorem. So the answer is 350 samples per second. Next one, two carriers 40 megahertz and 80 megahertz respectively are frequency modulated by a signal of frequency 4 kilohertz such that the bandwidth of the FM in the two cases are same. What is the peak deviation ratio in the two cases? Here they have given carrier frequency and modulating frequency, but they ask frequency deviation ratio provided bandwidth is same. So bandwidth is same means we are bothering about only modulation frequency only and find the frequency deviation. Let us see. So bandwidth of first one, bandwidth equation of FM is bandwidth is equal to 2 into del F plus FM, right? But as per the problem, bandwidth provided by two carriers are same. That means only which is going to vary, FM is same for both modulation, both FM1, let us assume FM1 and FM2. For both my modulation frequency is same, it is 4 kilohertz. So bandwidth is also same, they told. So what is the only thing which is going to vary? It may be del F. So let us find that. So for first one, I assume that the bandwidth of first FM is BW1 is equal to 2 into del F plus FM, message frequency 1, right? So del F1, message frequency is same for both. Next, bandwidth of second one is 2 into, again for second FM also message is same, but del F is going to vary, where del F is a frequency deviation. As per the problem, bandwidth 1 is equal to 2. So this is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. As per the problem, 1 is equal to 2. 1 is equal to 2 means this cancel. So what I get? Del F1 plus FM is equal to del F2 plus FM. Clear, because I equate equation 1 and 2. So del F1 plus FM is equal to del F2 plus del FM. Then FM cancel. So from this what I understand, del F1 divided by del F2 is equal to 1. So the ratio between the frequency deviation of 2 FM is 1 is to 1. Clear? So what is the answer? The option C is the right answer. Simple, right? So everything is same, so don't bother about any frequency at all. Directly apply the formula and find the answer. Next one, medium wave radio signals may be received as at far off distance at night because, right, we know that medium wave is used for amplitude modulation system, right? And during the daytime we receive only weak signals and only short distance is possible because the presence of D layer in ionosphere will absorb all the waves. That's why we are not using medium wave during daytime, but in night time the D layer in ionosphere gets disappear and sky wave get stronger and we can transmit a wave to a long distance. So what is the reason? The option C is correct. The sky wave is stronger at night because the attenuation from D layer is reduced. So wave can propagate to a long distance, whereas in daytime the sky wave is weak and it is absorbed because it is absorbed by D layer of the ionosphere. Right? So option C is a right answer. Fourth one, for a transmission of a normal speech signal, the FM channel needs a bandwidth. What is the bandwidth? Let us see. Right? So normal speech signal is in the range of 300 to 300 hertz to 3.4 kilohertz. So it is whenever we design a PCM system, we need sampling and quantization, but it is very difficult to design a low pass filter exactly to filter the signal. So instead of taking 3.4 kilohertz, we approximate it to 4 kilo samples per second, right? 4000, right? Frequency, audio frequency range is approximated to 4000. So for a maximum frequency of 4K, how many samples we need to take? As per the sampling theorem, we have to take 8K, because Fs should be greater or equal to 2 FM. FM is 4K, so we need 8000 samples per second. But normally in PCM we use 8-bit quantization. So one sample is represented by 8-bit. So 8000 sample is represented by bits per second is 8000 samples into 8, because one sample is represented by 8-bit in PCM in general. So it is 64,000 or 64 kbps. So what is the answer? We are going to have a bandwidth of for FM we need a bandwidth of 64 kHz, right? Because we are using a message frequency of 4 kilohertz, that will give 8000 samples. 2 into 4, 8000, and each sample is represented by 8 bit. So 1 bit, 8 bit for one sample. For 8000 sample, it is 64K. So option A is the right answer. And fifth one, a comparison of frequency division and time division multiplexing system shows that. So here we have to know important point. Whenever we are using time division multiplexing, it consumes more bandwidth, whereas FDM requires less bandwidth. That is one of the difference between TDM and FDM. Multiplexing means we know that we are transmitting large number of information through or many information through a single channel, right? So when you use frequency division multiplexing, it consumes less bandwidth, whereas time division multiplexing consumes more bandwidth. And TDM is prone to, right? Sorry, FDM is prone to crosstalk and interference, because we are using imperfect band pass filter in FDM. So FDM has less noise immunity, whereas TDM has more noise immunity, right? So from this we know that FDM requires less bandwidth, that I told, and TDM has greater noise immunity. FDM has less noise immunity because the band pass filter it is using is prone to interference, whereas FDM requires very less bandwidth, but the TDM requires more bandwidth. So option A is a right answer. Next, a communication channel disturbed by additive white Gaussian noise has a bandwidth of 4 kHz and SNR is 15. The highest transmission rate that such a channel can support in kilobits per second. So transmission rate is obtained by using channel capacity theorem, that is given by C is equal to B log base 2 1 plus SNR. So where C is a channel capacity or transmission rate, B is a bandwidth, SNR we know. So as per the problem, bandwidth is 4 kilohertz and SNR is 15. So C is equal to 4 log base 2, 1 plus 15 means 16. So I can write as 4 log 2 power 4 base 2. So it is giving 16. Fine. So the answer is 16 kbps. So the option A is a right answer. Next one, the intermediate frequency of a super heterodyne receiver is 450 kilohertz. If it is tuned to a 1200 kilohertz, what is the image frequency? Right, it is simple problem. For for super heterodyne receiver, image frequency is given by intermediate frequency plus to FRF, that is received frequency or tuned frequency. As per the problem, intermediate frequency is 450K and it is tuned to 1000, right? Sorry, it is sorry. So F image is given by FRF, that is tuned frequency, plus 2F intermediate frequency. FRF is 1200, that is the receiver is tuned to received frequency of 1200. Intermediate frequency is 450 kilohertz, so 2 into 450. So 2 into 450, 900 plus 1200 is 2100 kilohertz. So option D is the right answer. So F image is given by received frequency plus twice the intermediate frequency. So it's a direct question. Source encoding in a data communication system is done in order to, see, we know that in data communication we are having source coding and channel coding, right? Source coding is nothing but it is mainly done to remove redundancy, whereas channel coding is done mainly to add redundancy, right? So what is that? Source coding, the main aim of source coding is to remove redundancy. That means it is used to consume the transmitting information. That is for effective channel utilization we are doing that. Whereas channel coding is adding redundancy. That means we are adding some extra bits like parity bit in order to perform error detection and correction. So please remember these 2 points. Source coding, main aim of source coding is to remove redundancy, whereas channel coding add redundancy. Source coding why it is removing redundancy? To utilize the channel efficiently for maximum information transmission. So main aim of source coding is enhance the information transmission. So option A is the right answer. Next one, a super heterodyne receiver with the intermediate frequency of 50 kilohertz tuned to a signal of 1200 kilohertz. The image frequency, it is repeated, I think. So it is 2100 kilohertz, right? Just now only we have seen this, right? So image frequency is received frequency plus twice the intermediate frequency. Received is 1200. IF is 450, 2 into 450, 900. So just now only we have seen, so I skip it. And I hope you understand all the problems very clearly. If you are having any doubt, you can ask in comment section. Thank you.